What's up guys, welcome to another video today here in the center of Moscow. I'm just outside the Kremlin, as you can see behind me right here, and today I want to talk about superstitions, Russian superstitions. As you can hear, today is a very windy day. You can hear the clattering of these metal fences all around me. I hope it doesn't ruin the video. If so, I guess you're not watching this. In my entire 22 years living in the United Kingdom, I think I was asked about my zodiac maybe once or twice. But here in Russia, it seems to pop up in some way, shape or form every single week. People here have a sort of obsession with the zodiac. Every newspaper has horoscope columns. When someone meets someone they might like, they Google if their horoscopes are compatible and stuff like that. It's a really strong thing here. Russians in general are quite superstitious. It's not only the signs of the zodiac, but also the Chinese zodiac. People worry about what year they're from, if they're a dog or a pig. And it's not only these zodiacs too. There's a whole number of superstitions which are really popular here in Russia, and I've thought about 6 which I've encountered personally, and I'm going to make a video on those 6 right now. The first superstition I encountered here in Russia is about flowers. Flowers are a massive part of culture here in Russia. You'll see 24-hour florists on every block in any residential area. And the main superstition I know about flowers is about numbers. You should never give an even number of flowers to anybody. An even number of flowers is what you give at a funeral to put on the grave. But if you're giving flowers to your wife or girlfriend or mother or any colleague or any man for that matter, the only thing you should do is give an odd number of flowers. It's a massive superstition because of funerals. And in fact, once I went to the florist and asked for 10 roses. The florist said to me, "Are you sure you want 10 roses?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure I want 10 roses." They said, "No, are you sure you want 10 roses?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure." And she looked at me like I was crazy and said, "If you're giving them all together, then you need to have 9 or 11. If you're giving 10 separate roses, you can have 10. So I said, okay, I'll just have 10 anyway, because I didn't really understand. Then afterwards I asked a friend and I found out that no, even numbers are only for funerals, and this is a really serious thing. Do not mess this up. Do not give a girl you like an even number of flowers or you will be in trouble. The second superstition I encountered being here in Russia is something which was pretty difficult for me. It was, you're not allowed to whistle inside a house, because if you do, you will lose all your money. Now, this sounds like absolute craziness, especially for me. I'm a big whistler. I whistle everywhere. When I'm walking on the street, when I'm driving a car, when I'm hanging out in my house, I'm always whistling. Now, I found out that if you whistle in somebody else's home, it means they will lose all of their money. So I was in a friend's home and I was whistling, and they said, "Why are you whistling? Stop whistling." Like it was really offensive to them, and I was wishing bad financial luck upon them. I also, one time, I was in a taxi and I was whistling to the song that was on the radio, and the driver told me off even for whistling in his taxi. It's a really serious thing. People take it seriously. I mean, I am a big whistler. I'm always whistling, but here I'm only allowed to whistle outside, because if I whistle inside, I will disrespect somebody or annoy somebody, and people start thinking, oh, this means I will lose all my money. The phrase is "Не свисти, денег не будет." Don't whistle because you'll have no money. Superstition number 3 out of 6. It's about traveling. Now, if you're going to set off on a long journey and you're setting off with Russian people, what you'll notice, what they always do, is they sit down. Before leaving, after they've packed everything, everything's ready, they're about to go, they'll sit down for a minute in silence. This is considered to be a lucky thing. If you sit down for a minute in silence, then you'll have no car crash, your plane won't crash, you won't be late, no disasters will happen. But if you leave without sitting down in silence for a minute, then who knows what might happen. This has been rationalized to me by fairly rational, intelligent people, that you can use that minute to sit there and think about, what have I forgot? Have I got everything? Have I got my passport? Have I got my tickets? But for the vast majority of people, it's a superstitious thing, and if they set off without sitting down, they're going to feel like something's wrong for the whole journey. And furthermore, in regards to journeys, if you're quite a bit of a distance into your journey and you realize you forgot something, it's bad luck in Russia to go back and get it. So unless it's something serious like your passport or like your tickets, people will just keep going without it and buy a new one when they arrive, because it's bad luck to turn the car around and go back and collect whatever you've left. So yeah, that's 2 little ones in regards to traveling. Another superstition here in Russia is quite similar to in other countries, which is many cities have a certain statue where you need to touch or rub when you walk past it, and it gives you good luck. In fact, here in this park outside the Kremlin, there's a statue down here where you can see where people have been touching. It's all shiny and gold. And if you head in this direction to the metro Ploshad Revolution, there's lots of statues in there, and lots of those have areas where people touch every time they walk past. For example, the nose of the dog, and I'll show you that right now. Of course, this superstition is not only isolated to Russia. For example, if you go to Verona in Italy, everyone has a photo holding the boob of Juliet's statue outside the famous balcony from Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so the 5th superstition out of 6. It's considered bad if once you have finished a drink and the bottle is empty, to put it back on the table. It's considered to be bad luck. So don't be weirded out if you're at a house party and someone finishes a bottle of beer or a bottle of wine and puts it on the floor under the table instead of on the table. And this doesn't just apply to within your own kitchen or your own house, it also applies to restaurants. Often when someone finishes a bottle of wine or a bottle of beer in a restaurant, they call over a waiter to take the bottle rather than placing it back on the table to wait. It's considered bad. I think it's to do with money as well. If you leave an empty bottle on the table, you're gonna lose all your money. And the 6th superstition is something we have similar to in the UK. In the UK, when an actor is going on stage, it's considered bad luck to say good luck, and instead you have to say break a leg. In Russia, they have a similar phrase. You don't say udachi, good luck, you say ni puka, ni pera. This is a phrase you say to people before they are taking an exam. For example, if you say udachi to them, it means they will do badly, and if you use this phrase, it means they will do well. And in fact, with young people, you don't hear it so much anymore, but it's still a superstition for older people, and that's who I have heard it from. And a slight addition to this superstition, when somebody says this to you, you don't reply thank you, you reply kachuatu. Kachuatu means to the devil, and that's a way of securing the good luck. And if you say thank you, it's almost like you're losing the good luck that someone has given you. So yeah, that's just like break a leg in English, and there's a similar version here in Russian. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please give me a like. If you know of any other Russian traditions I may have missed, and I'm sure there are hundreds, I would love you to comment down below. And if you want to see more things about Russia, Russian people, about Moscow and other cities in this country, please subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.